All right, friends, it's Timon. We're back with a Blaha video. We're going to react to the gym lifting, recruiting, fitness gear stay himself, the bomba clot of the fitness industry, Jason Bomba Clot Fitness. Maybe that's what he should call it. Jason Blaha's Bomba Clot Fitness. Anyways, Blaha says studies show women gain muscle from training as quickly as men do. Yeah, of course they do if they follow the right principles. Yeah.
The newest studies we have out there are showing that women gain muscle as fast as men from lifting weights. Hey, everybody, it's Jason.
Sometimes even faster. They can even maintain muscle a lot better than men do.
Here, I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today, but a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, be greatly appreciated. If you are not subscribed or following, please do so, and if you will be so kind as to drop me a comment down below, I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, this is kind of one of those things where I tell a lot of guys, spending a lot of time worried about testosterone, or any time, if you're not going to go get it tested, you're not going to talk to a doctor, you're not going to...
Look, man, testosterone has nothing to do with building muscle, but, you know, people are going to tell you otherwise. Whatever, dude. Man, your testosterone should be working optimally the way it should be for a carnivore animal. But if you're doing specific things, certain things that are causing your hormones to, I don't know, increase estrogen and something else because you're not eating what you're supposed to, well, whose fault is that, right? But anyway, whatever. And then you want to go to the doctor to get TRT. That's the solution, yeah. And continue in that behavior, right? Okay. Whatever, you know. Like I said, it is good to have your testosterone working optimally. The problem is a lot of people out there, their testosterone is not working optimally. You understand me? That's why they're all bitching and complaining. And that's for sure. Trust me. Here's the thing. There's nobody out there that I know that their testosterone is working optimally, and so they don't even know what it's like to be normal. And when they do become normal. They're like, oh my God, is this what it's like to be normal? See, right now, even if you are a 60-year-old man or whatever, you should be waking up with erections like you were a 16-year-old. Get it? You got to work it like you were an 18-year-old still. I'm not joking, man. Your erections, even when you're having sex, your erections should be like solid, like wood. They're not because you're an unhealthy animal, domesticated unhealthy animal. That's why.
On TRT, or you're not going to just do a cycle of steroids.
And no, your erections don't go down or you become impotent with age. That's a lie somebody fed you. That's all bullshit. I know young people, they could barely keep it up. That's crazy.
I'm going to be frank, it's really a waste of time. Okay, it's a waste of time. Why? Test boosters don't work.
Yeah.
Test boosters do not work.
They are a waste of time. They're not going to take away all that the problems that the slave food diet is causing you. Yeah.
They're going to have all the same side effects the drugs do. And I've covered this many, many times. It doesn't even make sense, right? It doesn't make
sense because think about it. Even if they did work, right? Let's say those so-called natural test boosters. You're eating the slave food diet, so you're battling one with the other. Okay, yeah, smart. Are there test boosters that work over the counter in the pharmacy? Not in this place, maybe in South America. Yeah, there is. They call it Clomid, Clomiphene, Clomid, whatever, HCG.
Makes sense to use it over the counter. It doesn't even make sense, right? It doesn't even make sense to use an over the counter product for something like this. It's insane.
Yeah.
Again,
whatever.
Not like it works, and it's not going to be any better in any way if it does to actual drugs you can get, and it still will not be dosed correctly necessarily. It's going to be inconsistent batch to batch. So it's a really silly idea. It should have never caught on other than scam artists. But, you know, we come over to this whole topic, and I try to tell guys, look, yeah, if you have higher test levels in the healthy range, you will have a little more muscle, but it's not going to matter.
If you have higher test levels at a certain range, you'll have a little higher muscle. Not really. Not really. He's lying to you. He's just making up this stuff.
for your training. And this is what the research consistently shows that
Here's the research.
this, guys. The training itself, there doesn't seem to be any synergy with testosterone levels. A given amount of testosterone is going to make you just hold a little bit of extra muscle, and that extra muscle goes away if your test goes down.
Yeah, I don't know about that. If you build myofibrillar growth, it doesn't just go down because your test went down. Can women build muscle the same as men? Of course they can. Yes, women can build muscle through eccentric micro tears, through eccentric exercise. I don't know what exercise he's doing there, but whatever. Yes, they can build it through these eccentric exercise micro tears, similar to men. See? Women can do the same thing. Eccentric contractions where the muscle lengthens under load are known to cause more muscle damage. So why would you do exercises that don't cause the maximal amount of damage so you can build your muscle? So you don't have to hang around there 30 years to build 5 pounds. All right, so muscle damage and stimulate muscle growth. This damage in the form of micro tears triggers the body's repair process, leading to muscle hypertrophy growth. Yeah, whatever. Eccentric contractions and muscle damage. Eccentric contractions like lowering a weight during bicep curl squat. Okay, whatever. Let's see what else it says here. Hormonal differences. Yeah. While testosterone plays a role in muscle growth, women can still build muscle effectively through exercise, even without high levels of testosterone. Yeah, because it's the progenitor cells that are going to build your body. There's always other hormones that are going to take the place of the other hormones. If there's an injury in your body, if women get injured or a cut, it heals the same way, like a man. It's going to heal the same way, regardless whether they have testosterone or not. And anyways, even if you were to lose your testicles, some other hormone would take over in your body to do this repair process or building process or whatever. Well, testosterone plays a role in muscle growth. Yeah, okay, whatever. Effectively, through exercise. Even though, the body's response to mechanical, listen to this, the body's response to mechanical stress, right? Mechanical, what's that? Lifting weights is mechanical stress, right? And muscle damage. You're damaging your muscles through what? Mechanical stress, lifting a weight. Okay. Is a key driver of hypertrophy in what? In both sexes. That's why it's such a powerful modality, eccentric exercise. Get it, dude? Importance of recovery. Well, that's important. Varying exercise. Well, yeah, okay, whatever. So yeah, it works in both, and women can leverage them to effectively stimulate muscle growth. In essence, eccentric muscle contractions are a valuable tool for muscle building, and women can leverage them to effectively stimulate muscle growth and strength gains. They can. I've always known this because you give me a woman, I can train any woman and they'll be bigger and stronger than any guy in the fucking gym. All I have to do is get them to lift eccentrically once every week coming in. While these other fools come in every day a week, I'll bring this chick, she'll come in every week, once a week. And I'll go and feed her, man, for a couple of hours after her workout. She's gonna come back bigger and stronger than any guy in that gym, okay? Without steroids. She don't have to screw herself up with synthetic man hormones. Anyways, let's get back to the video.
And it's not a lot. And so we need to be clear. Someone who has very high normal testosterone, like they're in the top 10% of the population.
Very high normal testosterone? Listen to what he said. Very high or normal, which one is it? Normal testosterone or very high testosterone? How do you have very high testosterone? You don't. You have normal testosterone. But he says high normal testosterone. I guess you have to say that now because everybody here has abnormally low testosterone. Like
versus
Blaha.
Someone who's right at the edge.
Blaha has abnormally low testosterone because why does he take TRT?
Clinically low. You're talking about a few pounds of difference muscle over the course of a lifetime. It's not like 10 pounds of muscle. Like people have these crazy ideas. Well, I gained 10 pounds of muscle if my
10 pounds of muscle.
test was higher. Well, yeah, you better be
I'd gain 10 pounds of muscle if my test was higher. Well, testosterone is not going to damage those muscles for you to grow them bigger and stronger. Sorry, dude, no matter how much testosterone you have, it doesn't have hands to do it for you.
in it, not what a human produces. Okay? And here's the thing. We see this data, and what are we finding? That women gain muscle just as fast as men.
Yeah, women gain muscle just as fast as men eccentrically, doing eccentric exercises. Yeah.
Now, they have smaller frames. Okay? On average, women
They have smaller frames. I've seen some women, they got quite big frames, believe me. They're quite tall, they're quite big. Oh yeah.
have much smaller frames than men. They're slightly shorter. They have smaller frames. And people say, what?
They're shorter? Well, maybe on average there's some short, but there's quite tall women out there these days. I see a lot of tall women. But I don't know, maybe on average, maybe slightly shorter, who knows, whatever.
About the legs, they have still
I don't know what that has to do with building muscle, but whatever.
smaller frames. So women have bigger legs than men due to more fat storage, higher body fat percentage.
Oh, they do that.
Their thigh and glute muscles are not necessarily bigger than yours. They're still going to be a little smaller.
They have a lot of muscle in their thigh and leg area. Women have quite big legs, mostly bigger than any man. Bigger than Blaha's legs. I've seen women bigger than Blaha. Look how small Blaha is. He looks like a guy that doesn't even lift weights at all whatsoever. Look at him. No shoulders, no legs, no arms. He said it. Did you hear what he said in his last live feed? He says his arms actually got smaller. There's a live feed he put up the other day. I saw it. He was. I just opened it for a couple of seconds. I heard him talking, and he goes, "My arms got smaller." Yeah, he's getting smaller because he's stupid, man. He's lost. He doesn't have any muscle.
Just normally. Okay?
His exercising is frivolous. It will cause him to shrink, to get smaller. This exercise, what he's doing here, because this is endurance. Endurance actually shrinks your muscles. People don't even realize this. They come into the gym, they lift 5 days a week, like Blaha, 7 days a week in the garage, lifting day and night, even sometimes twice a day. And they're shrinking, bro. That's also shrinking you. You understand me? You're getting smaller. Yeah. Here's another thing. If you're a power lifter, you might get some of these micro tears. But guess what? These power lifters, they work through these micro tears. Because they're getting, isometric pull. They're getting some splitting there or whatever. So they work through them. And guess what happens? They die and they shrink. Because you will hear people complain and they go, I actually got smaller. Yeah. Power lifters have I got a stronger, but I didn't get a bigger, or I got a stronger, I got smaller. Or these people that like are lifting every day in the gym, like regularly lifting, coming in 5 days, 6 days a week, whatever, like blah, and then they're like, I actually got smaller. You do get smaller because it's endurance. Bodybuilding is not an endurance sport, and it's not a sport. It compromises sportive performance, real bodybuilding, because it's based on the principles of what? Eccentric exercise. It is not based on these goofy, crappy exercises, and it's not an endurance sport.
That's the reason you don't see women necessarily squatting or deadlifting the same amount men do.
Yeah, they can. They can squat and deadlift the same amount of weight that men can. If you get them to build muscle, build them up, and they will. Trust me. The more muscle you have, the stronger you are, the easier it is. Those lifts become astronomically easy. The bigger you get your muscle, the more muscle contractile proteins you get, the easier those lifts will get. They'll become really easy.
When their training is the same. Okay, in other words, we could take a novice woman,
But if you never built any contractile proteins, those lifts will always be difficult for you. You'll be using your nervous system to lift it instead of your muscle.
Man, and her muscle is going to go up in proportion to where she started, but she's going to start weaker even on the leg lifts, and she's going to end weaker. I mean, so this is how it works. They have a smaller frame, but relative to their frame size and everything, yeah, they gain muscle at the same rate.
Law's going to tell you this is how it works. They gain muscle at the same rate. Well, yeah, I don't know. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be building muscle, there won't be any rate. There won't be any growth there. You're just wasting your time. Like Blaha.
YouTube ads is made for your business.
Relative to their frame size and everything, yeah, they gain muscle at the same rate. They gain muscle at the same rate. This is what they're finding in the lab. It's just going to scale proportionate to the frame. So if her frame is 30% smaller than yours, on average, she's going to gain 30% less muscle. It's going to go with structure. But the muscle fibers grow at the same rate. And people say, how can that be? We have way more testosterone. But they have way more estrogen.
Yeah, but that's only if the muscles are micro-teared, man. They gain at the same rate if they're micro-torn. They repair and then they remodel bigger and stronger. That's how muscles grow.
Okay? Estrogen's anabolic too. People.
Blaha wouldn't know that because he's an endurance athlete, like everybody else in the gym. He's not tearing muscles and rebuilding them bigger and stronger.
Forget this. When you have guys who start pulling this nonsense, I'm going to crash my estrogen. I'm going to drop my estrogen to zero.
Have you seen like long distance runners, marathon runners, and sprinters? Look at the difference between a sprinter and a marathon runner. You ever see what they look like? Yeah. Sprinting is not based on the principle of endurance exercise. See what I mean? It's not based on endurance.
Drugs to do it. Well, number one, you're going to hurt your muscle growth. Estrogen's anabolic. Number two, you're going to destroy your health. Okay, we need estrogen. Just like women need a little bit of testosterone.
Estrogen is anabolic? Yeah, I mean, they need estrogen so they'll be feminine. It feminizes you. Estrogen feminizes you, and testosterone masculinizes you. Why do you think there's two sexes? There's men and women. Women have what? Estrogen. It feminizes them. Okay. What masculinizes men? Testosterone. Now, if your testosterone is low and your estrogen is high, you're going to be what? Feminized. So you're gonna start to want to, I don't know, you'll be aggressive. You'll be aggressive. You want to fight and a bunch of stuff because you're feminine. You're feminized. Now, when women have, I don't know, if they have higher testosterone, maybe lower estrogen, they start getting masculinized. See what I mean? They get the opposite too. It's not a good thing, I guess. They don't like that. So, yeah, it drives the sexes crazy when one of the hormones go up and the other goes down. It drives them crazy. They don't like that. It's an environmental thing. It's a food environmental thing. Whatever.
Men need a little bit of estrogen. We have to have it. If your estrogen goes,
we have to have it. We do have it, and so do women. It's a bad thing too if their testosterone goes really low.
Too low, obviously, your sex drive gets destroyed. You're usually impotent. You'll lose bone minerals. Your tendons will rupture easier. Your HDL cholesterol will drop.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Blaha there. If your hormone goes down really low, it's gonna be a bad thing for your bones, this, that, whatever. Yeah.
So you can be more prone to heart attacks, more prone to tendon ruptures, more
prone to heart attacks. You'll have bad sleep. A bunch of things will be really bad. My sleep is just phenomenal, out of this world, man. I can sleep for hours, like dead sleep. Yep.
More prone to bone breaks, and you're gonna have erectile dysfunction and depression.
Bone breaks, erectile dysfunction. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. So why would you do this? Because it's the woman hormone. Well, no, not really. We just have different ratios. But for women, the estrogen is just as anabolic. Okay.
Yeah.
So they gain muscle at the same rate, but it also goes to show you that testosterone itself isn't as big of a factor, because if it scales to their frame size, you see what we're saying? Their starting point, they gain muscle at the same rate.
Do they? Yeah, they do. It tells you that. I mean, I've never particularly trained a woman to do eccentric exercise, but maybe I should put out some videos again like I did in the past in my old channel. I talked about that. I lost all those videos now. Gonna have to make new stuff again. But you know what? I'm just tired of doing it. You know. But yeah, maybe I'll put it out. Maybe I'll do a series of videos, talk about more stuff on eccentric exercise. I don't know. Maybe I should do those old videos like I did in the park. Sit out in the park, make some videos, and talk about this stuff. I don't know. I'll think about it. I did enjoy like making videos all the time in the park and sit and talk.
So that all that testosterone versus their estrogen isn't really doing anything for your training response at all. Yeah, this is the data, and people forget that, you know.
This is the data.
So what they also don't notice, how many men, there have been plenty of guys, I've seen plenty of powerlifters who compete in the drug-free stuff, who have actual low tests and they qualify for TRT, but then they don't
Okay.
want to do it because those federations don't allow medical exceptions, so they'll kick you out.
They're the cause of the low test.
They'll pop. You'll fail the drug test for your TRT, and they will not accept your doctor's note. They don't allow medical exceptions, and I've seen guys who do that who still squat 500 pounds, and they're still pretty big. Why? Because they trained, right? And I think people forget that. You know, lifting weights makes you gain muscle over time, irrespective of the
What is this? This is another Blaha statuette. It's just funny
anabolic
stuff.
environment. The anabolic environment is additive. So putting stuff
The anabolic environment is additive. Okay.
is going to create its own muscle growth.
Oh,
But it's at higher levels.
it's gonna create its own muscle growth out of thin air magically. Yes.
So we're outside of those normal ranges of everybody.
Endurance lifting is going to create a muscle. Endurance lifting. I don't know where it says that anywhere in science. Have you read science, how muscles are built? Does it say anything about lifting, endurance exercise builds muscle? It always says these micro tears and muscle damage. It always says that all the time. It repeats itself over and over again. I don't know how many times you can read this, man. It just says it over and over and over again. It always says eccentric exercise is superior to concentric in every way for strength gains and muscle. So why would anybody lift concentrically if eccentric exercise is superior to concentric? That makes absolutely no sense to lift concentrically. Get it? That doesn't compute. I'm not saying lifting concentrically is a bad thing. After you build yourself eccentrically big and strong, get it? If that is your goal. But if your goal is to build yourself big and strong and you want to lift concentrically, well, good luck with that, man. Maybe in 100 years, maybe there might something will come out of that. But guess what? I doubt it. There'll be a zero there. Sorry, friends.
These hormones is in the normal range. This data should tell you literally what we've been saying for years, that no, it's adding testosterone doesn't produce more growth from training. It's just going to add a little bit of extra muscle in a short period of time. And it doesn't continue, by the way. It's not like if your testosterone goes up, you keep gaining muscle. No, it's going to be over a few months.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then it stops.
Oh. It's just a couple of months and then it stops. It doesn't keep continuously gaining muscle. Yeah, okay.
Body's going to gain an extra amount of muscle based on your levels, and if they go down, you're going to lose that little bit. It's just the way it works. You know, we've known this.
Well, you could gain a lot of sarcoplasmic muscle. You can gain a lot, man. It could get really massive, huge.
A long time. But studies like this with the women really kind of show the point where I'm making. And I tell guys, in other words,
and that's what endurance athletes get. They get the pump, right? So they get this glycogen loading, whatever. The sarcoplasm expands. You know. You got to reload in there. But in bodybuilding, you're just like you're isolating each muscle group to pump up the sarcoplasm like a bicycle pump as much as you can. So they come in more often and keep pumping it, eating carbs and pumping all day.
There's no reason to worry about your testosterone unless you're going.
I knew a guy like that. That's all he was doing. I was laughing. I was laughing because he was stupid. He was coming into the gym twice a day, pumping his muscles up, pumping them with whatever.
Seek medical intervention. It really is a fool's gambit. Like it is not worth your time.
Sure.
And if it was, I would be the first on top of it, telling you guys, look, man, go do this, boost your testosterone. It's just not going to do anything, guys. The best thing you can do to
Look what it's done for Blaha. Nothing.
fix your low testosterone or non-optimal, because if it's low, you need an injection. If it's not optimal, lose some body fat. Lift weights, eat a healthier diet, quit smoking, quit drinking alcohol, quit smoking weed. Done. Get some sunshine.
You think that's the only thing that's causing it? It's a slave food diet that's causing it.
All right,
Makes you estrogenic.
guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.
It was very uninformative because he never told you how to fix your testosterone. He just says stop drinking, smoking, and get some sun. Okay. How's that working for all of you? You estrogen slaves out there. Not. See what I mean? Stop eating the slave food diet. Just do what is natural. Eat natural food, man. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, friends. This is a ridiculous video.